And so what are we doing when we sheath or unsheath our sword? And we're attaching it to the socket weapon R. So if I say get attach, and if we are on weapon R, we want this to return true. What's up everyone? Today I'm going to be showing you this example using a simple weapon equipment system. So you'll see if I press Q here, I'll equip the weapon, and then if I press Q again, I'll unequip the weapon. If I equip it and I press E, I can pull it out. Press E, put it away. If I spam E, you'll see that it doesn't reactivate the animation until after the weapon has changed to either being equipped or unequipped. Finally, if I unequip the weapon while I'm holding it, and then I re-equip it, it winds up on the back. We start with our debug keys here. Press Q, we're going to toggle our weapon, and that's down here. Toggling our weapon, whether or not we have the weapon equipped, we will either unequip or equip. And when we equip or unequip the weapon, you'll see we're setting this Boolean here to say whether the weapon is equipped or unequipped. And when we press E up here, you'll see that we are toggling holding the weapon, which is over here. Toggle holding the weapon, we check to see whether or not our weapon is equipped. Then we enter this gate. So this gate here is what stops you from spamming the animation montage. The first thing you do is close it. You want to start it open so that you can enter the gate right away. And then once we play these montages, depending on whether we're currently already holding our sword, it's going to jump over here to our animation blueprint. And you'll see in the montage here, I've got this notify set here called equip weapon. Just right click, add notify, add new, add whatever you need. And you can set those in the animation blueprint just by coming over here and type notify. And you'll get a full list of all the notifies you have here. And then we're just calling our character and calling that function. That makes sure that everything happens perfectly in time with the animation you're calling. We toggle our Boolean over here, and the system works. But there is a much better way for doing something like this that is much more consistent for larger scaling projects. And that is, rather than using Booleans like this, you're going to use pure functions. So to start this off, we're going to switch the weapon equip here. Basically, rather than having to create a pure function at all, I'm just going to go ahead and delete these. So we're not going to worry about setting that Boolean. And where's the only place we check this Boolean right now is right over here. When we toggle holding our weapon, we only want to do this if the weapon is equipped. And fairly easily, we can come over here, get our component, drag off of here and go get child actor. And this is actually going to get the actor that is being spawned by the component. And so I can just right click on this here and go convert to validated get. And then if this is a valid item, we will continue. But when we come down here to our sheathing and unsheathing the weapon, you'll see that we set this Boolean to say whether or not we are holding our sword. And this is also fairly easy to fix. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to delete these Booleans. So we don't want to have to call that anymore either. But then what are we going to do instead over here? Well, this is where we're going to make a pure function. So if we come over here to our functions, I'm going to say new function, and I'm going to call this is holding sword. I'm going to come over to the outputs, set it to a Boolean, say return value. And then up here under graph in the details settings, you'll see this pure setting. I'm just going to check that here. And so what are we doing when we sheath or unsheath our sword? If we take a look over here at our functions, when we unsheath the sword, we are attaching it to our skeletal mesh, and we're attaching it to the socket weapon R, which means we're going to be holding it in our right hand. And when we sheath the weapon, we're still attaching it to that same skeletal mesh, but we're attaching it to the socket sheath back. So if I say get attach, you'll see get attach socket name. So if I drag off of here and say switch on name, if we wind up at the default state, which means we have a name that isn't in this switch, we're going to return false because we don't want our system to do anything that we're going to be unfamiliar with. And then if we come and drop down this pin names here, we can set one to weapon underscore R, and we can set one to sheath underscore back. For the sheath underscore back, we are checking to see if we're holding the weapon. So this is going to return false. We could actually just drag this down here as well. So both of these cases will return false. And if we are on weapon R, we want this to return true. Then when we come up here and we use this Boolean, let's just drag this in. And because it's a pure function, we don't need to give it a execution. This goes in there like that. So this was just a short video, but I hope it's helpful. If this did help you out, please hit that like button and subscribe for more. So yeah, that's it for now. Have a great day.